Another popular way to create surfaces from curves is to use a loft. Now, what this does is use multiple curves and it spans a surface between those curves. So let's create some curves. I'm going to go into my top view here and let's just create a simple CV curve. And I'm actually going to create it in kind of a U shape here and hit enter. And you can see here's the curve. And then all I have to do is let's just go ahead and duplicate it. Now, I don't know if I've gone over this before, but we can just duplicate the curve using Edit, Duplicate, or Control D is the hotkey for that. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this curve. And if we want, we can scale it up or down or change it any way that we want. I'm just going to change it just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it again. Again, Control D for duplicate. And again, I'm going to scale this down. So we have three curves, and let's go ahead and select them. Now, the thing about this is we need to select them in an order. So I need to select them bottom to top or top to bottom. And again, this green one shows me the last selected. So now select them in order and just do Surfaces, Loft. And there we go. It creates a very nice loft. And again, just like with the revolve, I can go to my original curves here and select them, and I can move those around. And again, manipulate the surface. So I can change that surface however I want just by manipulating those underlying curves. Now, the reason you want to connect these in order is that because it will span between the curves in the order that you select them. So I'm going to select this surface again and delete it. And this time, let's select these out of order. So I'm going to select top, bottom, and then middle. And if we do a loft for that, notice how it kind of gets kind of weird. So basically what it's doing is it's going from the top to the bottom and then to the middle. So the middle is my last bit on the surface. And so really what we've got is we've got a surface that looks kind of like this. So again, that's not as intuitive. So you really want to try and keep your curves in order and then loft between them. Now we can also do this for closed surfaces as well. In fact, I've got one set up as a demonstration here. So if we go to our saucer layer here and reveal it, you'll see that I have the body of that saucer that we created and plus some curves that we can loft, and I handily created them for you. Now the first curve is actually matched to the surface of this, and I'll show you how to do this in just a little bit. But let's just trust that this is on the surface of the saucer. And let's just go ahead and shift select each one of these in order. And this is how we create our tail. Surfaces, loft. And there's our tail. Now again, if this tail is not to your liking, you can go into this and change the curves or manipulate the surface however you want. And this very top one is a curve that's been scaled down to 0, or pretty close to 0. You can see here there's a little bit of a gap here. But if I scale it, I can actually scale it all the way closed, and so we have basically a closed surface at the top. So those are some of the basics of how to loft. And again, loft is basically just selecting the curves in order and then lofting between them.